Hey, welcome back to the Youth Bombs. I'm David,
I'm Carson.
And I'm Dominic.
and we are the voice of young conservatives out of Alachua County. We saw a tragedy struck earlier this week with wildfires seizing the people of Los Angeles. A lot of homes have been burned, and a lot of people have lost a lot of money, and we've seen over 10 deaths so far. What are your guys' thoughts on it, Dominic?
Well, first off, what's going on in California is absolutely devastating and one of the worst disasters in our country's history, and we should keep all of the victims in our thoughts and prayers. But I think when talking about this issue from a political lens, we have to consider the incompetence in leadership at both the state and local level. First off, Gavin Newsom has completely destroyed the state of California in so many ways. He just completely, I would say the worst governor in the U.S. currently. When talking about this issue, he recently blocked a water restoration act that would have allowed water from the northern part of the state to flow down to the southern part of the state. And he blocked that for to preserve a species of fish, which is just a ridiculous reason, like prioritizing a fish over, human lives. But yeah, that definitely would have allowed for there to be a sufficient amount of water to put out the fires, I think, relatively quickly. And, also, not California, Los Angeles has a terrible mayor, Karen Bass. She recently cut funding from the fire department, pretty ironically, to reallocate funding to help the homeless. And now there's just so many people who are homeless from losing their homes in the fires, so I think that's pretty ironic.
Yeah, and I'm from California, and I know a lot of people in California, and even a lot of people who lean liberal, and a lot of them are tired of the incompetency that they see in California. California's been pushing DI initiatives for a while, and only 5% of firefighters are female, yet all three of the highest-ranking firefighters in the entire state of California happen to be female. And it's just very, very obvious. Like if you just look at the leaders of all these organizations, they always tend to follow some sort of DI initiative. But apart from DI, again, what you were saying, it's pretty ridiculous to prioritize the life of a fish that dealt something. It's a small fish over the lives of people. What are your thoughts, Carson?
Yeah, I want to start off with what policy I do blame, which is the fact that I do blame that California's wildfire prevention and also, the recovery, rescuing, all of that stuff has been needlessly publicized to no end. You cannot, seemingly as a private corporation, be it for-profit or non-profit, really be involved in the recovery process. And so I think that is really probably the majority of the reason why this has been so catastrophic. Is just it is so hard through all of the needless government regulation and bureaucracy to actually address this while not being part of the federal, local, or state government. I will also say I think that what Karen Bass did with specifically leaving, she knew that these wildfires might have taken off, and she left right at the time to, I believe, go to Ghana of all places. I think that was really reckless, and I feel like at any time, if you need a local leader, that is the one time. What I will push back on a little bit is specifically the water thing with the fish. That was actually a thing between moving it from Northern California to Central California. So they were never talking about moving it to Southern California. Southern California actually gets its water from two specific aqueducts. So they don't get their water from Northern California. That was a completely separate debate. But the main thing is the fact that they have not allowed private entities to come in and help address this recovery process.
And out of them moving the water, it also, a lot of the water was also being dumped in the Pacific Ocean instead of being used so that the firefighters could do their work with the fire hydrants. Because 100%, we have to commend all the brave men and women out there who are fighting these fires. But we also have to understand that they're not given the resources in order to do their job because of incompetency from the government. But this isn't something out of the usual. It's not something out of left field, and it's not something uncalled for that such a disaster such as this tragic fire would occur in LA. President Trump has been commenting on this since 2019 and has been criticizing Newsom for not clearing the forests and not regulating the trees and just letting everything be loose. And what do you think about that, Dominic?
Yeah, I just think it's ridiculous that Gavin Newsom listened to the environmentalists about not doing those controlled burns that definitely would have prevented not just this fire, but a lot of fires in past years from occurring to the extent they did in the state. And I think it's important that when considering policies regarding the fires, that Newsom actually listens to people who know what they're talking about rather than tree huggers who think they know what is best for the environment.
What do you think, Gerson?
Well, I think that generally I agree with you. I think that you should not prioritize the needs of the environment in the long term over the needs of the environment and the people in the short term. That seems disastrous. It's a disastrous mindset to have. And yeah, I think that it's actually absurd. I don't really have much more to say about it. It's just like, why would you listen to the environmentalists over the people who are actually in need right now? This is clearly a problem. It's been a problem almost every year, if not every 2 years. And so, I don't know. It's just
I think,
sad.
and I think it speaks a lot, like especially the controlled burns, because not only has California been warned that a wildfire as tragic as this could happen, but President Trump has offered solutions multiple times, even in this election cycle, been trying to talk to Newsom about it. Do you guys think that this incompetency from California and California leadership moves the needle politically? Do you think people are going to change now? What do you think, Dominic?
Well, do I think California is going to become a red state? Certainly not, but I do think a lot of people will open their eyes and see the incompetency of the leadership in their state. And, you know, it's not just the fires. There's a lot of other stuff that has gotten worse in recent years. Like, just look at cities like San Francisco, where people are doing drugs on every street corner. It's just truly disgusting, and a lot has to be done to fix the issues in that state.
Yeah, and I know many people who lean liberal in California who are trying to get out of California right now. They've just about had enough, and we see that people tend to go to red states to blue states. The proportion is 7-1. For every 7 people that go to red states, 1 person moves from a red state to a blue state. And we also notice that this is actually bad for Democrats down the line, because states like Florida and Texas have actually been getting redder and have not been going more liberal, despite having people leave liberal states to go to them. So unless Democrats get their act up, they're going to be in a lot of trouble when the census comes. And then the House of Representatives, which is 219 to 218, just a difference of 1 seat, is definitely going to be in play.
Yeah, I want to say just one last thing on if this will move the needle politically. I think that generally speaking, people aren't really willing to diverge from their party on Senate seats and on presidential elections. But what you have seen a lot is that people are willing to on the governor. So you might see one of these really blue states, or even a state that's trending red, like New Jersey, like New York, like Illinois, like California. You might see one of these states actually elect a Republican governor, even if they might not, ever vote for Donald Trump presidentially, or even a red senator.
100%, and I think it really speaks to a lot when you live in a society which only votes one way and isn't willing to look at another perspective. When you live in an echo chamber like California, which isn't willing to give conservative leadership a try, despite the incompetency and failures of liberal leadership. So maybe when and hopefully if they do give conservative leadership a try, the conservative movement stands firm and does well in order to show California that conservative leadership definitely is a possibility and that they should be open to different ideas. Thanks for watching, everybody. Youth Bombs uploads 3 times per week. Please like and comment and subscribe and help us grow our channel. If you want to email us, do so at youthbombs@Alachua County Republicans.com. Bye.